Welcome to the ICEMAN Market Watch. My name is Alberto Perez. Hey, so I'm going to take you through the weekly watch list. I'm going to start off here with the economic calendar. You'll see for the week of August 10th on Monday, we have no scheduled actual economic news. And that's going to be important because when we look at the market, we want to see, is institution going to be joining us? And then we have August 11th. We've got existing home sales, CPI followed, initial job claims. And then we're going to round it out on Friday with U.S. retail sales. Now, that's going to be important because we want to know where the money is going to be coming from institutions and then when they're going to be participating, so to speak. So let's hop into the the earnings calendar. And we have earnings coming up here on Monday, August 10th. And so I'm going to be looking at some very specific charts today with you guys. ASTS, we're going to look at SMCI, CoreWeave, NBIS, Cisco, and AMAT. I'm going to be looking at these. There are some great opportunities in here as well. Some other ones that I may potentially update during the actual week, but these are the ones that I have either order limits there or I'm going to be looking to enter the position, something of that sort. So with that being said, let's hop into the broader market first. We're going to start with SPY, and you'll see that SPY, what it did was it was in this channel the entire time, and then it broke out. So we're sitting at all-time highs at 776.81. And then what you're going to see is we've got this decision zone. It just kind of kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No institution participation in there. So what I would be looking at on Monday is I'm going to be looking at above this R zone. If I can get above this R zone that I have right here, that resistance zone, I'll look to take it to high of all-time high at 776. The other one I'd be looking for is if I get down below the decision zone, I would be looking to take it down back to 764. Either which way, nothing that I want to do in this particular area right now, just because that is where they're accumulating money. So you don't want to get caught up in there. Now, the next one that I'm going to be looking at right here is we're going to be looking at QQQ. You'll see that QQQ was in a parallel channel prior. You'll see that in this parallel channel, what they basically did was they broke out of this channel, so right there, so to speak, and then they created a window. And that window right now is now serving as a support area. So you're going to see that this decision zone right here is going to be very, very important. Now, that's a pretty big decision zone, though I do think that it's very important because if I'm looking for a position to go into the options, what I'd be looking for is I'm going to be looking for a position to get above 728.54, hold it, take it up to into the falling window. Now, if we get up into this area right in here and then come back and reject it, this would be a potential entry to go to the downside. So that would be what I'm looking for on QQQ come Monday. Now for IWM, IWM was in a parallel channel as well, and this one was very clean. This one I put in last week's watch list, and you'll see that what we did here, we just broke out of the channel, caused a rising window, currently using that as a S-zone support zone, and then we are into this area. So what I would be looking for to take a position here, I'm looking to get into this S zone, get back to this S zone. I don't want to take anything up here, and I definitely don't want to take any kind of put position from here. I want to get in here, hold it, take it right back up. Should we lose this area, then I'll look to take it back to the bottom. Now, I know you might be thinking there is a rising window right here, but that is going to be on a smaller time frame, so I wouldn't be looking at it. What I would be looking for, the liquidity pocket, is actually down here, which is that rising window that we just looked at on a higher time frame. So that's what I would be looking for when it comes to IWM. Now, let's get into some earnings, some AMAT. Now, if you know anything about my short-term equity positions, the way I do things, I like to hold on to things for about maybe 2 months or so, maybe a little bit less than that, but definitely nothing more than 3 months. So I am looking here at AMAT. You'll see right now that it's at 539. Now, it's pulled back. It had a huge expansion. It pulled back, and then it's sitting right above this monthly fib. I think it's got some more room to the downside personally, and I'd love to take it down here to this position. Now, you could take the position going upward. In other words, you could enter the trade somewhere in this area. For me, I don't really want that just because it is a little bit too overextended already. So I'd look for a deeper pullback. If it happens on earnings and they just pump it, then it is what it is and you just take it. But if I see it drop throughout the week, then I'm going to see that. I'm going to set an alert on this one here on the fib. So I'll set the alert there and I'll be notified of that. So that's going to be for AMATs. Now let's go over to SMCI. I really like this one because this one is now it took a expansion, came all the way back and rebalanced itself. They tried to run it up, they kept pushing down. So it's been channeling in this entire area. Now, let me take you into a bigger frame right now. This is on a monthly time frame. I'd love to see this go in. Now, I'm going to bring you down to the weekly where my entry would be. On the weekly time frame, here's what I got going on. I've got the reversal signal already. So if I enter this trade down, I do have a slight minor resistance right around here at a 32 and $33, which is not very big. So if I were to enter this right here, I might enter this with a starter position, or what I may do is I may see it come up, hold, and then I could take it that way. That would be the cleaner move of the two. So it all depends really kind of what happens next week. I wouldn't mind letting this give me a little bit more confirmation, if you will, and then come back on the pullback. I'd be okay with that too. But the target would be 46. And that is going to give me about a 1 to 5 risk to reward if I were to enter right here. So if I do enter here, then I'm going to have a stop loss right underneath my decision area. That's what's going to give me for SMCI on their earnings. Now, their earnings comes out on Tuesday after hours, okay, after market close. So that's going to be for SMCI. I'm going to be looking at Core Weave as well. Now, Core Weave had this huge pump from 35 all the way up to 187, and they just came back down, balanced it out. It's been accumulating in this area. And again, almost a little bit kind of like the other ones that I've been reviewing. It's a very similar setup. What I'd be looking for is a starter position here. This one is going to be a starter somewhere around the 90 area. And then if I get above this 111.60, then what I can do is I can add to the position. My end target would be about 133. That's what I'm looking to do if I get into this trade here. Now, I do have a resistance area, a zone right here, as you can see with my purple, and that is going to be somewhere where my starter position would be. So I would start it here, but I wouldn't go with any substantial size just yet. I would wait for the move to happen, or if it pulls back, this would be a great entry down here as well. So that's going to be for CRWV, Core Weave. And then I'm also going to be looking at ASTS. ASTS, very similar. You can kind of see the theme on each of them. They all had deep pullbacks, right? And so that's why I'm looking at these, because they've already made those deep pullbacks, okay? Now, this one, very similar to the other ones, get a starter position going here. And the reason I'm looking for a starter position is because it has been accumulating here. So let me take you to a weekly time frame so we can look at this a little bit easier. You'll see that they ran it up, pushed it down, accumulated, push it down, back up, pushed it back down. So what I'd be looking for, I would be looking for this to start a position and then go up here. If I can get above this 88, 86, that would give me a better add. So I'm going to add to the position there, and my end target would be about 111. So I'll look to see if that is going to be my stop loss would be down here behind the S zone. So it all depends on, do I want to enter the trade now there? Do I believe that's going to pull back a little bit? If I go back to the weekly for a second, I don't have a reason to believe just yet. This hasn't expanded yet. I mean, it's expanded from a weekly time frame, but an overall move, it hasn't just expanded yet. So that might be a good entry for me, but I'll look at that a little bit closer later in the week. And then the other one I'll be looking for is NBIS. Now, NBIS is a little bit different because we already came back into the fib, but look what happened. They pushed it down. You see that long wick? They pushed it down. Now, it did hold above the 0.5, albeit barely. So what I'd be looking for is for this to come a little bit deeper. This is my entry that I'd like to have. I'll most likely put an order limit somewhere in this area. As long as I stay above 141, then I am okay. I don't want to get into this. Even if this thing moves up and it pumps, I'm gonna let it go. It's not worth the risk to reward. So I wouldn't share it, just mostly because this has already expanded. So I would like to see it come back If it doesn't, then I'll let it go, and that's okay with me. And then finally, the last one that I'm going to be looking at is Cisco. Now, Cisco is one that's already expanded. They try to push it down. They're going to go back up. You'll see I have this decision zone right here. They got back above the decision zone. Now, the only question is this: are they going to just simply continue to accumulate for a moment, just for like just for a little bit longer before we get a little better distribution? Or does this go and go a little bit, continue to go higher? So if we go down to a lower time frame, you'll see that we are already accumulating here. This is a good indication that positions are staying in here. So we want to make sure we kind of get out of this particular area. I'd like to see this fall back. If you'll notice here on this expansion, we haven't come back. We haven't had a deep pullback. So anything up here is just going to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's going to be a minimal risk to reward. I don't really want that. I'd like to have a deep pullback. Once I get the deep pullback, I'm going to take it back up. Once again, I'm going to set an alert on this one for myself, and my setup is going to be there. So if you want to know more, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to be releasing NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, and a few other tickers individually on their own videos. Thanks a lot. Take care.